Welcome back. Today we'll be reviewing the long-awaited Moto Tag for Motorola. This is their Bluetooth tracker that works with the Google Find My network. Right from the start, it already feels like a more premium product and packaging than that of Pebblebee and or the Chipolo products, though the cost will reflect that as well, which after taxes and shipping is $37.99 for a single Sage Green if you order direct from Motorola's website. That being said, they are now available on Amazon for $29.99 for the single Sage Green or $99 for the 4-pack, which includes 2 Sage Green and 2 Starlight Blue. I will have links in the description below to purchase anything and everything you see here today. Another bit of context I need to add to that is prior to this arriving, I did read on an article how this device requires its own app. So if you are planning on grabbing one or more of the Moto tags for yourself, please know it requires an additional app beyond just the Google Find My app in order for the Moto tag to function properly, and we'll discuss what that means further on. Unboxing is a relatively smooth process. Like the Pebblebee clip, the Moto tag did not pair as expected initially. I ended up rebooting my phone and resetting the Moto tag, and at some point it just popped up on screen as it was supposed to and offered to pair the device, so c'est la vie. I will say that there's definitely still some ironing out that needs to be done here, as I haven't heard of any recent issues with Apple AirTags and not pairing right away, and I did some quick Google searching to try and, see how recently I could find an article for that versus how recently I could find one about Moto tags not connecting, and it's overwhelming how many more are on, talking about the poor experience with the Google Find My devices. So yeah, definitely some ironing needed to be done. The first benefit of this device over the other Google Find My devices is that it does feature the ability to use ultra-wideband tracking, which will offer you a much more precise ability to locate your lost devices. And though this device does have the hardware capability to do that, ultra-wideband tracking, it hasn't been turned on by the Google Find My app yet. So until they launch support for that, it's kind of a moot point. But it will matter later, so future-proofing, always worth it. Another benefit of this device, among the others, is that it's got much better aesthetics, if you ask me. I will say that this looks something that could have been a Google first-party product. It also rivals the aesthetics of the Apple AirTag. And speaking of, this is an excellent segue into the next major perk I found, is that it works with a lot of existing AirTag accessories, as they have the same dimensions, 31.9 millimeters in diameter and 8 millimeters tall. This may not be the biggest perk for others, but I know personally I have some leftover accessories from previous purchases of various 2-packs of cases and such. So I have like a case and keychain vault from Elevation Lab, which we're going to get into that in just a bit too. But unfortunately, though they have the same dimensions, the AirTag and the Moto tag, the Elevation Lab accessories are printed for the specific curves of the Apple AirTag, so it doesn't quite fit in the keychain vault. It kind of fits in this other one, but there's probably still just a little bit of gap. So I'm not sure, but I'm imagining there are the folks at Elevation Lab are already doing some redesigning for the Moto tag, or they might even just make one where the design is universal of both the Apple AirTag and the Motorola. Maybe they'll be willing to send me something. Who knows? A huge perk is that the device is, this Moto tag is an IP67 dust and water resistance rating. Being this is the only one that actually has a dust rating. Second in line is the Pebblebee clip with an IPX6. And last in line is the Chipolo 1 with an even weaker score of IPX5. This is currently the only device, only Google Find My device that can be submerged in water for any period of time. Though I don't necessarily recommend doing that. Just kind of a, peace of mind knowing that if you take it out in the rain, you don't need to be worried about it. Thanks to its companion app, this Moto tag is the only Google Find My tracker that gives you the ability to do reverse find, though it's not on by default. For those that are kind of new to these devices, this just means that there's an option to press on the tracker to find your phone, just like the corollary option to find the tracker using your phone. In case you lost your smartphone, you can now just double-click the M logo on top of the Moto tag, and your phone will start ringing. This function is one of the reasons you have to download the companion app. And while in the app, you can go into the settings to turn this on and give permission on your phone operating system to say, yeah, let the app do this function. It calls it like a Moto tag ringer, if I'm not mistaken. The other use they advertise for the M logo button is supposed to offer the ability to do remote shutter release on your camera, but I tried that on my Google Pixel 5, and as you could see, it didn't do anything with the camera app open pressing the button. So I downloaded the user manual, and there's no mention inside the user manual of the functionality, let alone how to use that functionality. So I don't know. I also just to make sure, check both the Moto Tag app to make sure the app was up to date, the Moto Tags firmware was up to date, and the Google Find My app was up to date. Still, no dice. This device has been going in and out of stock in the single tag variety on Motorola's website, but I haven't seen the 4-pack being available since I put in my order in August, at the beginning of August. There is, however, quite a vast available supply, it looks like, available on Amazon. There does seem to be a note on the bottom that says it'll ship between September 12th and 23rd, and testing that theory, I ordered one on August 28th, and I'm supposed to receive it next Wednesday, September 4th, so I don't know when it'll actually get to you. Hello there, it's me, Future Dylan. Just wanted to let you know that my Amazon package of the Moto Tag arrived a day earlier than expected today, Tuesday, which is when I'm hoping I've uploaded this video for you to watch. I'll also have to say that this pairing went exactly as they described it. I pulled the tab so the battery contacts made connection, and within seconds it offered to pair, so we'll call the last one a fluke. All right. Back to the regularly scheduled program, but I'll include a link to purchase it on Amazon below. Probably the best bet. I'm guessing most of you who watch this probably have Amazon Prime, plus it helps the channel, so cool. Another letdown for this device is the speaker itself. It's pretty weak compared to its competitors. If your tag was buried under a bit of clothing or deep in a backpack or something, it probably wouldn't be loud enough to hear. Maybe they could do a firmware update that'll give an option to go louder than the current high. Or if, for instance, you do end up using this case similar to the Elevation Lab Tag Vault, it could be enough to muffle the speaker way too much. They even make mention that in the manual that using a case that is open on each side to prevent the impacting the speaker output. So it's probably a known weak speaker. It seems like Motorola even kind of knows it's weak, but once they release ultra-wideband tracking, I don't even think that'll be as much of an issue because that precise tracking kind of takes the need to have the sound out of it, potentially. The Moto Tag also comes with a replaceable CR2032 battery cell, and according to their FAQ page, which I'll also link that below, the battery should last you about a year, which seems commonplace for all the other ones that work on that similar watch battery cell. So, with that, here are some of my final thoughts. I usually pose the question if I would buy this product again, but as I mentioned, I already have. Since getting the Moto Tag in my hand, I have to say it is a beautiful piece of tech. I really like the shade of green they chose, and the finish on the button is also rather striking. And I really want to get my hands on one of the Starlight Blue versions to see what that one ends up looking like, because I bet that looks quite, or just as pretty as the screen one does. I'll also say the higher price I paid for early adoption feels like it was worth it, as it does look and feel miles above the Chipolo and Pebble Bee alternatives. And, you know, now they're about all the same price, whether you buy it on Amazon or direct from them. I would just say go on Amazon because it looks cheaper because you don't have to pay for shipping because it's Prime, right? If you were to exchange that M logo for a G logo on the top two, I wouldn't have guessed it was a Motorola product versus a Google first party. So kudos to Motorola for what they've put together. If you were waiting to pick up one of these new trackers and you weren't sure what to go with, this is it. Sorry, Pebble Bee, sorry, Chipolo. This one looks like it. You know, I'm going to do a battle of all of them, including the AirTag and the Tile and the Samsung. But yeah, Google folks, I'd say buy it. Thanks for watching. Carry on.